Okay, testing. Let's see. How is the audio today? Oh, come on. As soon as I tried to adjust this boom stick, it disconnected. There we go. I think it's working. Tighten that up a little bit. Okay. Well, let's see. How is everyone doing here today? Hopefully everybody has enjoyed their last couple of days. Hopefully not working too hard. Yay, we got some text. Okay, it looks like it's working. Awesome. Let's see what is going on. Let's see. Greetings. Hey, what's up? Bart. I kind of like the name just Bart for short. Bart's OSZ. May have to tell me how to pronounce that. Let's see. Frankie Tech. What's up, Frankie? Ramos. Hi. Steven. Hey, I added a message for everyone today. It is right up there. Hopefully that helps out things here today. At some point I just think that I'm just trolled. I'm just being trolled. I think I posted a thing on Twitter just the other day of some of the messages that I got with 9.50, which in my mind kind of blew my mind because after 9.50 came out, really within a day or two, there were so many people that at least told me that they had updated and was looking for an exploit for that. And I was like, no way. And then I started looking through like my emails and like some of my Discord messages. And I was like, are all of these people in on like a massive troll for this? Or why would they target me? Why wouldn't they pick somebody else? I don't know. Maybe it was the video that I made where I told everybody that the homebrew scene owes you nothing. Maybe that was it. I don't know. What do you say? I do have a little bit of bad news, and that is that one of my PS4s, actually one of my primary PS4s, I can't get it to power on this morning. Oh wait. Oh yeah. So I just needed the luck of the stream because I have been trying to get this PS4 to power on. Okay, so it just powered back off again. Maybe there's something weird going on with it. But anyway, I have not been able to get the PS4 to power on, but it looks like it's actually powering on now. And seriously, before I sat down here, I at least gave it several whirls to see if I could get it to work, and it didn't work. It sounds really good right now. Obviously, I don't have my display switched over to see what's going on that display. But yeah, pretty cool. All right, I just heard it shut back off again. I think it's doing that weird power cycle. Once you've done too many jailbreaks, it seems like the system itself has some problems. Let's see, what do we have over here in the chat room? So, soon, TM. So, hello and love from India. Well, hello there, and love back from the United States. You probably could just hear that just beeping. Okay. For whatever reason, that PS4 is now booted back up. Yes, we have it running again. Okay. So, too much 9.04 information. Let's see here. So, all right. So, there is nothing new about a new jailbreak. Just wait. Okay. That is very true there, Sovereign. As you can see with the wonderful text that's over here to this side right here. Okay, so Can we make the exploit of 9.0 with the Raspberry Pi 3? I think what you're looking for there, SACMAT, is using the Raspberry Pi to host the exploits, right? Kind of like what I was doing with the Pi Zero not too long ago, really. I did a video or two with the Pi Zero where I talked about, basically using the exploit was contained on there. You could also switch over to USB emulation, and it did the auto jailbreak. But then you could also just use it for a USB mass storage device, which that I thought was pretty cool too, that you could do. Let me know if that's what you're referring to. I'm booting up the old window web browser here because I do have some videos on some of that stuff that's already out there. So that might be helpful. Might be helpful to you. So let's go to this screen right here. And this was back just a little bit. Let's see, jailbreak your PS4 fast, exploring the beta. Let's go to this one. Yeah, this is the one that you're probably looking for. So this one was primarily with a Raspberry Pi 0W, and this was also for a 4B. And so if I go into this, I don't know. I think I usually, there we go. I kind of put a little bit of a look of what was kind of going on there. But yeah, this was the Raspberry Pi 0W. But for the most part, there's stuff that's in this that you can probably use for the 3B. So, and by the way, I'm using the Raspberry Pi 2 for my Vita mods that I did. I did a Vita mod that was not too long ago, and in that Vita mod, it was a lot of fun because what we did there was basically we built a Vita dock for extremely cheap. So there's the Raspberry Pi 2 Model B, which this is a pretty old device now at this point. But yeah, you can get these. These are probably not as much, mainly because they're pretty outdated now. I'm wanting to say those came out like 8 years ago, something like that. Let's see, what else do we have in here? So it says my PS4. Get the widgets popping up on these screens too. My PS4, when waking up from rest mode on 2.2.2, is having an issue with the external drive getting disconnected and needs rebuild repair. Not always, but most of the time, I have not found a solution yet. Interesting. So you're coming out of rest mode, and when you're coming out of rest mode, what you're saying is that it says that your external drive needs to be rebuilt or repaired. On your PS4, do you have the USB kind of turned on where it stays turned on all the time? Let me know if you've got it turned on all the time, because that would be a little interesting, because where it always supplies power. So let's see. Let's do something here. Let's do something here. And let me see if this will power back up again. So back over here, in my settings, if you go down to devices, and let me say USB storage devices. Oh yeah, I don't have one turned on, one plugged in right now. But if you go to, what is it? There's like a power settings right here, power save settings. What do you have? let's see, that's for media, general, and then this right here. Do you have this set for always? And do you have, so this is how I keep my settings. So as you can see right here, it says supply power to USB port. It's set to always. Obviously, you can change this to always, 3 hours or off. Is yours set to always on there? Let me know. John says, I have limited bandwidth at home, and I was wondering if I transferred a game remotely from another network, will it use my bandwidth or just the bandwidth of the other network? John, it will use the bandwidth of your other network. That would not use your internet. So basically, you would be connected to the same local area network. So you've got your PS4 and maybe your PC or whatever. You know, when you punch in your IP address to your PlayStation 4, and it's got like a 10 dot something or maybe a 192 dot, those are local IP addresses. So if you push that out, it's not pushing it out over the internet. So it's not leaving really your home. So that can be a little bit of a help there. I hope there will be a jailbreak. Hope so too. Hey there, Fun with JJ. I have a question. When will this come? We don't know. I added this up to the screen. I always pick the wrong side, but no exploit for any of those systems. No clue. The stability is 9.0 is getting less. I don't know. You may have to tell me a little bit about what you're thinking there. For 9.0 right now, I don't have a problem with it at all. Typically I'm using the latest Gold Hen. You know, I usually cover all the new Gold Hen releases here on the channel. But yeah, for the most part, I haven't had that. I have been using my ESP32-S2 device, which here's just a little case that I printed for it. And I have this on multiple PS4s that I have in my home here, right? So this is the D1. This is the D1 Mini. So that's the little chip that I use. It has Gold Hen on it. It's all stored locally. There's no need for like host or anything like that. My host is super simple. It's got like 3 buttons to press. I never really bought into all of those different hosts. You know, like there's like people that builds tons of hosts. I think it's hats off to those that do all of that, but I've never needed anything like that before. Yeah, for the most part, the way that I've always done things is up here to settings. I don't even know if I'm connected right now to that little device or not. Because again, this was the PS4 I was having some problems with. So it looks like it's not connected. But if I go to the web browser here, and yeah, I never changed what those settings were before. So I go back here and we'll go to, let's go here and we'll just go our 10.1.1.1. R2. Oh, it's not connected at all. But anyway, every once in a while, if you haven't connected back to your little ESP32 device, it will forget. But right there is my ESP32 S2 device. And for the most part, can't connect. Password is password. That should get me in there. Oh! This wasn't plugged in. I remember I unplugged it when I was trying to figure out how to get this PS4 back up and running again. So the good news is that for the most part, these little ESP32 devices boot up super fast, right? So you just saw me just kind of plug it in. All that looks good here. Yes. back. Yeah, so I went through all of this just to simply show you that is my gold hen. That is the host that I use. And as you can see, it's really the latest one is 2.2.1. I didn't update this for 2.2.2, but that's all that I need. I don't know. I don't need a lot. Cheats are all built in now to Gold Hen. So, as long as you're running that. Oh, that's funny is I'm not even jailbroken. Well, so like that's kind of the nice thing here, right? Is that, using one of these little ESP32S2 devices, I can come up here to Gold Hen and now hands off the controller. Everything will just happen for me, like very easy. And I have a web installer that people can go to and kind of like check out some of this stuff too. So anyway, fun with JJ. I know I'm a little bit off now with the chat, but yeah, let me know. I haven't had that same experience that you're having there. Yes. Hey, hello there. Just Josh. Always or off, same thing is happening. Oh, okay, Bartos. Yeah, I'm not sure then. I'm not sure. Hame, can we install any Linux desktop on PS4? For the most part, you can install a bunch of different ones, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of them that you can install. I did a video the other day that was, simply about if you wanted to, use, there was a couple of new Linux versions, right, that just came out, or a couple of new Linux payloads that just came out. And so with those, let's put this over here where I can see what's going on. With those that came out, we can come back over here and we can go to the PS4 news that I did the other day. And you can see for a couple of different ones that came out was Pop! OS was one of these. And the other one was, oops, never did do that. Let's go back here again. And now our screen's refreshed. So yeah, Fedora 35 is one that just recently came out. And this is them playing Cyberpunk. And then the other one was Pop! OS. That's just right here as well. So you can use Pop! OS if you wanted to. And then obviously, if you want to use other flavors, I've got a video for Arch Linux. And then I've got another one that is for Gentoo. So there's multiple variations, right, that you can use if you want to. Oh yeah, it has to refresh. All right, so let's see if that works now. Yeah, so here is one for regular Linux and here is one for Gentoo. If you want to check one of these out. Okay, so let's see what else do we have going on here. By the way, thank you for chatting today. I love the chats. I'm not so great at reading through all of the chats, but I try to. Okay, let me look through here. Fun with JJ. Sir, how can we do remote play on 9.00? I think that was 9.00. I have never actually set up remote play, but there's an option that's like on your Vita or that's on your, on your PS4. And I did connect up the Vita today, just in case we had some Vita related stuff. Woohoo! Huh. I was just playing, I was playing a few days ago. I was playing the virtual tennis too. Oh yeah, I think I won that match. Who loves their Vita? Does anybody else have a Vita? I just absolutely love this thing. Oh, come on. My first match, really? and I am Venus. Okay. Well, I'm doing so bad. Oh, come on, Venus. Venus is like a pro tennis star. There we go. Come on, we gotta get something back. Really bad. But yeah, that's the Vita. And there is a little option that's in here. I was trying to see where it was at. By the way, if you play Persona 4, which I've been playing through Persona 4 Golden or Persona 4 Gold, wherever that's at. There it is, Golden. You should definitely use this thing called Sharp Scale, which lets you output that game in either 1280 or 1080p. But I was looking, and I've already forgotten about it 5 times now, but there's PS3 Remote Play, and there's PS4 Link. I've never ran these PS4 links or anything like that before. So it says, what feature do you want to connect to use the PS4? I want to use Remote Play. It says searching for the PS4 system, searching via internet. Okay, so it says could not find PS4 system. Select add device. Okay, well, I won't add the device simply because, well, anybody could add that device if they wanted to. So fun with JJ, I don't know. Maybe I should go and experiment with that. So I believe, Hime, that I got you answered up there. And by the way, don't forget to like the stream. It brings more people in and lets more people enjoy the awesomeness of PS4 Homebrew. And subscribe if you haven't already. Love to have you here. It's chill. It's relaxed. It's fun here. Kind of fun for me, at least. Let's see here. Can we install? Oh, you definitely wanted to know that. So hopefully you now know that you can install it. Do you think PS4 F package will work when the PS5 is jailbroken? That is a very good question there, Brian. Do I think the PS4 fake package will work with the PS5 when jailbroke? So we do know a few things, right, about the PS5. We know that it has a debug settings, the debug settings menu that we all have with PS4. I don't know. It could work. It's right now. It's just still a lot of speculation, just simply because we do not have, we don't have a jailbreak, but we do have a userland exploit, which is the one that I showed a few times on the stream here, and I do have a PS5, just waiting, kind of sitting there, waiting for something to happen. I actually have 2 PS5s. One's on 3.20 and the other one is at 4.03. I am not that interested really in PS5 games at the moment. Everybody's like, why don't you upgrade one of them to the latest version? Like, I don't really know if I need it. I've got one PS4 that's usually on the very latest firmware. Right now it's actually still on the beta of 9.50 because I was hoping that I could go back to at least 9.04, but I have learned the hard way that once you go to the 9.50 beta, they do eventually time out, and so you can't go back. So I have learned the hard way that I can't go back to 9.04, but that's okay because that system has already been on, firmware that hasn't been jailbroken before. So it really doesn't matter. But yeah, hopefully something works out of that, Brian. Let's see. What do we think? When do we think Vulkan drivers will be properly implemented in the PS4 Pro for Linux? Rob, I don't think I know enough about Vulkan drivers to talk about it, to be honest with you. But yeah, that could be very interesting. So let's see here. You need to register with PSN ID It can be complicated, but remote play works. Okay, so you got a website there, Bart for remote play. You know, remote play is something I haven't really seen a lot of people talking about, right? Let's see, free and open source. Let's just go right here. Free and open source PS4 remote play client. So the repo has been moved. What in the world is this site they're using? Let's see, free and open source PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 remote client. Oh, okay. So it looks like with this may be a very good video to create, to be honest with you. As all relevant features are implemented, this project is to be finished in maintenance mode. You can either install a download or build one from source. So there's just a zip file here that you execute. It says if your console is on the local network, standby mode is turned on. They should find it. Otherwise, you can add it. Register your console. Obtaining your PSN account ID. Yeah, a couple of scripts here that does it. Simply run it in a terminal. That's interesting. Obtaining a registration pin. So I did remote play back a little while ago. Remote. I did this video, which actually did fairly well, which was right around 9K views. But I set this up with the PlayStation 3 using an older version. And I stored that, I believe, on, this is good because I stored this one on my GitHub, which I've been putting some of these things on GitHub because a lot of the times they just start disappearing. But so registering the device right here, and then eventually I got it to connect. One thing I will say with this remote play stuff that I did back here with the PlayStation 3, it was never good. The remote play was never good. And I'm using this, like my home network here. Everything is hardwired in. Like I have Ethernet drops into my different rooms. And so it was always hardwired to the internet, just like I am right now. But I don't know. This is local stuff. Well, actually, doesn't remote play use the internet? But anyway, I never could get this to work really, really well. I don't know. Interesting to hear what other people think about this thing. Let's see. Hey, what's up, Joseph? By the way, keep the questions coming in, folks. I really do greatly appreciate them. I got a question for Linux. Is there a way to transfer files from my USB to my external drive that is running Linux, like games I already have because I tried and it didn't show up? So Joseph, you booted into Linux, correct? Once you booted into your Linux on your PS4, when you plugged in a external USB drive, is that where it didn't find it out, or it wouldn't locate what that drive was? The first few things that comes to my mind is that if that's kind of the case, what was the drive formatted in? Was it something that was like Windows, like NTFS, where Linux can't read those without some special, drivers and things of that nature? Was it like a FAT32, or was it something like, exFAT, or some of those other type of file allocation systems? Because when I did those 2 Linux videos, I don't recall adding another additional drive to it. Actually, I may have used this little drive to transfer a file back and forth. But what I formatted this one as, I can go and look this one up and see what it was formatted as. But it was not I don't think I used any sort of NTFS file system for that. Let me do this real quick. Let me just plug this one in. Because I'm pretty sure I used this drive. So let me go here. Let me go to properties. So that little drive that I had, that was formatted in exFAT. exFAT format was what that drive was. Have you tried exFAT? Was it an exFAT drive that gave you some of those issues or errors? Let me know. Let's see. So Just Josh says, hello. What's up? My console sometimes makes a high-pitched beeping noise and then completely powers off and will not turn on for a couple of minutes. Guess what, Just Josh? That is exactly what happened to me right before this stream. So at the beginning of the stream, I was mentioning I could not get my PS4 to power on. I think that's just part of the, you're running these jailbreaks, and I'm not saying they damage because I don't think they really do. But kernel panics and things of that nature. What I would recommend is doing what I did on this one, which is unplugging it completely from the power, giving it, 30 seconds or a minute, plugging it back in, and then after you plug it back in, give it a little bit of time, and then go back and do the re-jailbreaking process. But yeah, I was having that same thing. This thing was just beeping. It was beeping like crazy. And for a good 30, 40 seconds, I was really thinking that maybe there was something wrong with this PS4. Something had happened to it. I've been thinking about making a video on cleaning, right, your PS4. Like just doing some general good old cleaning. So I don't know. Just Josh, let me know what you think. So Joseph says, hey, it happens to me, Josh. I think it's normal as we're hacking the PS4. Exactly. How far into homebrewing one can get before needing a PS4 Dev Kit? So Zeron21, that's a really good question. How far can you get into homebrewing before you need a PS4 Dev Kit? I don't really think you'll ever need a PS4 Dev Kit for the most part. There's obviously advantages to using, some of these other more expensive PS4s. So there's a member that's of our Discord, and he had a test kit. And with that test kit, there were so many cool things you could do with it. One of them being, you can go to any firmware that you want to go to. So you know what? If you wanted to go back to 5.00 firmware, you could go do that. Or, you know what, if you went to 9.50 and you said, hey, you know what, I'm going to go back to 9.00, you can do that with those test kits. He was selling his for, I think, around $800 to $1,000. And that's the going rate for a lot of that stuff here today. But I don't think you ever need it. If you want to develop and you want to build applications or games for the PS4, all you need is a retail PS4. The SDKs, which are publicly available, and just the passion, desire, and time just to learn. And that's it. You don't need anything else in order to kind of get started and get going, with the PS4 and writing software for it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see any real reason to get one of those test kits, dev kits, or anything of that nature personally. I've got 4 PS4s. All of them range for about, I think I've gotten every PS4 for about $125 to $150, except for one of my original PS4s, which was before all the jailbreaking and stuff, which was $300. I think I paid $300, the regular retail price. At one point, just like the PS5s that I've got, I paid retail for those. But yeah, other than that, I don't think you need it. Can I go somewhere? Can I somehow go from 9.5.0 non-data to the 9.04? No, you can't. There is a downgrade guide that I did show before, but it's next to impossible for people like us, mainly because it requires a whole heap of just knowledge of just, the internals of the PS4. You have to hook up a bunch of stuff. But there are some guides that's out there for downgrading. But again, it's not really something that's possible for the general public without at least buying a whole lot of parts, completely disassembling your PlayStation 4, and really, really, really knowing what you're doing. I've never, I'm just not going to worry about it, personally. I've got a 6.72 system that really just sits and collects dust. My two primary 9.0 systems are used pretty much every day. I play, all kinds of games on both of them. One of them's used for my videos here on the channel. The other one's in my living room. And then my 9.50 system is for anything that's, on current firmware that I want to play, which surprisingly, it's not really a lot. I don't own any games that requires firmware higher than 9.00. I've never bought Elden Ring. I've never bought Horizon, mainly because there's so many great games that's already out there on the PS4 that I don't even really think that I need those games. Like, I'm just not that interested in them. Let's see, what else do we have in here? Hey, Louise, Brazil. I think I got that part of it out of there. Welcome in. Joe Sandwich, any updates on Linux? Yeah, you should definitely check out my Homebrew news episode that I released just a few days ago. And the reason I keep calling attention to that one is that inside of that, I definitely talked about Pop OS and Fedora coming out. So you can use these little chapter markers down here and you can navigate back and forth. But Pop OS and Fedora 35 is two of the later releases, at least as of April the 6th here. If you are interested in those type of things. Let's see. Yep. Jose is right there. Obviously, the PS4 cannot be permanently hacked like the PS3. And keep in mind, with the PS3, it's only certain models. So if you've got a PS3 Fat edition, well, those can run custom firmware. If you've got a PS3 Slim edition, I'm trying to think if there's certain models of that, and then the PS3 Super Slim, there's none of that. So you can't use completely custom firmware on a Super Slim. I've actually got about 3 Super Slim PlayStation 3s that I'm just using, HIN on, which, you have to enable it every time manually. Now, I did put in my last Homebrew news episode that there could potentially be a surprise over here on Easter. And that was this one right here, which was there will be a surprise on Easter for those on 9.00 and below. Now, this dropped on April the 1st. So, again, I didn't really pay a lot of attention to it, but over on April the 1st, definitely there is some thoughts there on this thing dropping, on something coming out for 9.00 and below systems. Steven says, please, any link for PS4 games package free download sites. What I refer everybody to is really just PKG links. PKG links. Go to Google's. Obviously, you have to be careful with, copyright and stuff like that. But if you go to the Google's and you do a search and you search for PKG links, you may find a lot of great demo applications ready to install directly on your PlayStation 4. Woohoo! That's what I use. I had a video, believe it or not, that I was working on. I never released it. I didn't release it on YouTube because I have already got one community strike on YouTube. Again, I have like the mildest channel ever. But if you do anything that's related to hacking, you can get flagged. YouTube can say, forget you, take it all down. But I had a video that I actually think I am going to put on BitChute, and it helps a lot of those folks that's looking for great quality demo applications for their PlayStation 4s. Yeah. Demos. Okay. There is an app for PC and APK for Android. Bartos, I believe you are referring to the remote play stuff. If so, that's interesting. Top Line Gaming. Woohoo! Top Line Gaming in the house. I don't have my headphones on. Let's see. I don't know if those would work. But let's see if this works.
Testing. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Testing. If this is a modulated voice, it is because I was waiting for Top Line Gaming to come through. What's up, Top Line Gaming?
Thank you for visiting the stream. I have to listen to the replay unless somebody says I have no sound. There was no sound when I did that? Really, really, really? I would think there was some sound. Yeah, I'd have to connect up my headphones and stuff. But anyway, thank you for swinging by, Top Line. So good to know. Thanks for providing the insight. Of course, yes, you should make a video on that, just Josh. No worries. So yeah, there's a couple of things that I kind of have in my back of my mind to talk about for some new videos. The Vita stuff, I'm really digging PlayStation Vita right now. Really enjoying PlayStation Vita. But I don't know if everybody else enjoys that PlayStation Vita content. One of my worst performing videos, and again, I'm not doing this just based off of stats and stuff, but my Vita dock, the second part to my Vita dock video did really bad. But then the actual Vita dock itself, did about 4K views, which is pretty good, I think. Obviously, one thing I'll just tell you, I'll keep it to you straight. Anybody that makes YouTube videos or likes to do YouTube and it's like a hobby of them, they're completely lying if they say that they're not interested in views. And the main thing is that the goal is to get views, not necessarily to get views for I'm making mad cash out of all this thing, but getting views simply because if you put time and you put effort into something, you're kind of reassured to keep moving and to go further, right? If people's watching your content, and especially if people's commenting on it. So thank all of you for commenting and chatting and coming around. That's awesome to me. That's what it's all about. PTS says, I really need to know what I can do with a development kit if I get one for the PS4. Not from a developing perspective, can I go online? Well, I mean, there's a couple of different kits, right? So let's see. Let me see if I can find something here. So, Dev, let's go PS4. Let's see if we can get a little additional help. PS4 Dev Kit versus Test Kit. So, let's see what we got right here. So, let's look at something here together. Let's switch over to this one. Dev kit versus final product. So here is the dev kit. I don't know if this is going to be that helpful to us. Oh, that's for PS3. Oh, yeah. This is actually a really good image. This is the PS3 one. This was, and it's not really necessarily fair. Let me just say that. It's not really necessarily fair to say dev kit versus the final product, right? And the reason that I say that's not fair is that the dev kit is never intended to be something that is on, retail shelves. It's not something that's ever intended to be something that somebody just sets down and they're just like, yay, I've got access to all this stuff, and what do I do with all of it? So I don't really know. Like, these really should be separated out. But yeah, so there is like the PS5 dev kit. I have seen all of these. I've seen all of this in pictures. By the way, I've never seen any of these in real life. PS3 one was a VCR. What I was looking for though is I was looking for a good kind of breakdown of what all the differences was. Nintendo Wii GDK. Wow. Nintendo Wii. This is actually really interesting to me. Yeah, this is kind of cool. PS4 Dev Kit versus Test Kit. Got a blue PlayStation for $20. Wow. Yeah, so that is actually one of the other features, right? With the dev kits and even the test kit. With the test kit, the debug settings that we all know and love over here on our PlayStation 4. Once this boots up. Oops. So on the dev kit and on the test kit, back over here, this is by default. This debug settings, people already has access to that, so you don't have to jailbreak, right, in order to get access to it. Can you go online? I think you can go online, but I don't believe that you can actually play games online and let them count. You know what I mean? Even like in the debug settings here, there's a bunch of stuff for PlayStation Network where you can kind of like set up different types of configurations like for it. But I don't believe any of those will actually count. You know what I mean? For it. Mr. Top Hats. Mr. Top Hacks. Boom. Sorry. Nothing there for you, friend. We don't know. So after World War III is when 950 is going to drop. Apparently, we're like about to have another World War III. I don't know. It seems like this Ukraine-Russia stuff has been going on now for a very long time. Could you make a video? So Sublime. By the way, Sublime, I don't think I've ever seen you here before. So what's up? Thanks for dropping by. And also for dropping a question in here. So don't forget, like the video, folks. I would love to have more people like the video, more people finds it. But also drop a comment in here. Let's just chat. All right. Can you make a video of different ways to connect two PS4s on LAN? I've seen a few, but I don't know what is best. That's a good question. So I've never personally connected two PS4s on the same LAN, but it seems like it would make sense, especially with like things such as Hamachi or some of these, LAN only gaming kind of like platforms where people can kind of bounce off of like each other. That's like really, really, really cool to me. So yeah, I know that you can do it. I also know that more than likely you need a PC to kind of like bridge the gap between the two. Wolfer says, "Hey, hi. Was waiting for the Q&A stream. Don't know why I didn't get any notification." So Wolfer, I will have to say that is because of myself. I'm never good at scheduling live streams. I did it once, and actually, I had the most people I've ever had. I think I averaged around 42 concurrent viewers the whole stream. But basically, we have the ability in YouTube Studio, is we can put out a broadcast, and then people can click on it. And then when you go live, you get notifications on your phone, on your desktop app, or everything like that. I'm just not great at scheduling those. The other thing is that I hate a scheduled time. I usually do this around the same time, right? I just want to hang out and help out with people and stuff. But sometimes there's just other things going on, or an hour late, an hour early. Let me tell you, streamers, like I used to do Twitch. If you ever go over to my Twitch channel, I used to do Twitch a lot. Twitch is a very difficult thing to keep up, especially a very solid stream schedule. It makes the most sense for people wanting to watch your content. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe those days I need to bring those back. When will Gold Hen have online so we can mod online? Obviously, is who asked that. When will Gold Hen have online so we can mod online? You got to tell me a little bit more about what you're talking about there. So Gold Hen have online, so nobody gets online right now. So Wolfer says, I bought a Vita after your video and loving it. Oh, sweet. That is so awesome. I guess I need to get a grip L2R2 case for easy playing. That is so true, Wolfer. These R2, L2 buttons, it isn't the most comfortable thing. And there is a ton of cases, right, that you can go out there and you can get, that makes things or makes life a little bit easier for you. But overall, I absolutely love my Vita. It's probably one of my favorite devices that I would have to say it really is. It's probably one of my favorite devices that I've owned in a while. I do have a PSP sitting over here somewhere, which I use the PSP like crazy, but there's so much kind of like power that's held like within this thing. There's a video that I've been wanting to make, and I probably will at some point, but it's on, what all that you can do with it. So the Vita dock was one really powerful thing. But what blows my mind the most about a Vita, some may say, it may just be like all of the different like homebrew applications. So the homebrew applications are awesome. I'll just show you this. So homebrew applications, anything you can think of, you can pretty much go and you can download it. Give this a second or two to pop up. So my favorite section in here is usually the utilities section, right? So there's a utilities section where you can get all kinds of utilities. Come on. This application is not that great. What it does is it tries to rebuild the full database like pretty much every time you connect to it, which is one of the reasons why it's probably not that great of an app. But there's other browsers, so you don't have to just use this one. So let's just do this. We'll just get back out of that. And this is one that usually works a little bit better. But here's a couple of the things that I think that's kind of cool with a modded Vita. Just for a second, talk about. So the homebrew store or these homebrew stores. There's multiple homebrew stores. Those I think are like really amazing because you don't have to go out and like find stuff and then, you know, download it, transfer it to your device, which, you can use micro SD, like I've got mine connected up right here, or you can use like FTP, or you can simply pop out your SD card, which is up at the top of this right here, and then just plug that in directly. But you can do a bunch of other things. So I don't know why that's taking so long to go, but I'll just let that kind of keep continuing. But PKG, this is the app every single person is like more than likely going to be downloading at the very beginning. So PKG J, this is like the PKG iStores, package stores for the PlayStation 3. So I've got this filtered just to USA based games. And if I scroll down in here, any of these that you see with the little circle there, those are games that I already have that's kind of installed. But what's kind of neat about these is that all of these games are stored on the PlayStation Sony servers. So you can obviously grab those and you can play those directly from your device. Now, here's one thing I'll say, because I said this in the other video. Piracy does not equal homebrew. I know it sounds weird for me saying that, but it's very, very true. For the most part, a lot of these games, you can't even get them anymore. So like, let's go down to this one right here. So this is Mary Skelter. This is Mary Skelter Nightmares. And this one right here is a role-playing game. This same game, if you go and you look on eBay, bare minimum, you're going to be paying $100 for this game, and it has to be shipped to you. The problem with Vita is that most of these games, they don't exist anymore. Or if you find them, you're going to be paying crazy prices. Another thing that I really like about the Vita is this ability to, see all of these different types of like plugins. So, you can hook up your Vita and your DualShock 4 controller, and they will work together. Obviously, all of that is done by these plugins. But these are plugins that the community built. And what's so awesome about this is that if you can think of a plugin, like, so this is the DualShock 4 controller. So you can download plugins that adds on a bunch of functionality that they never intended for these devices. Which, is another reason that the community kind of like owned it. There's really nothing that I found that it really can't do outside of, play some really high-end, games. The ports is also a really cool thing, too. Let's see. Do I leave that port on there? I had a port of a first-person shooter game, which was Redneck Rampage. Is anybody here knows what that is? Redneck Rampage? But anyway, that was a game that came out, 90s, I'm wanting to say. And it was pretty amazing simply because you could, it was a nice little first-person shooter that at that time didn't even exist. Hex Flow Launcher is another one that I find that's kind of neat, mainly because it shows all of the different software that you've kind of already got on there. So here's another game that is crazy expensive if you try to buy it from like eBay or some other like kind of like store like that. Duke Nukem 3D. Everybody loves Duke Nukem, right? Full Throttle. These are just some of the games I've got on my collection here. When can we go online with our jailbreak so we can use menus online? Yeah, obviously, you're probably not going to get any sort of PSN activity for your PS4 anytime soon. Sony got wiser, right? So with the PlayStation Vita, like this Vita right here, this Vita is connected to the PlayStation Network right now. And as you could see, I don't know if it showed it, but I think it showed it. But right here, 6 hours ago, it said that my trophies, I don't know why that's not working, but it said that my trophies had been synced, right? And so whenever I install new games or whenever I'm playing some new games, the trophies do sync automatically. The same thing happens, right, with the PlayStation 3. You got a PlayStation 3, your trophies, those sync fine as well. For PlayStation 4, no, you just can't connect to the PlayStation Network. Okay, let's see here. It says, hey, dude, I'm using a Pi0 2W for jailbreak, and I always unplug my external hard drive before jailbreaking. Any known problems if I don't unplug the external? So that was Kirsch. So for you, Kirsch, I would not worry about it. I would not unplug, going back to over here. I would not unplug my PlayStation or my external hard drive device. I would go in and make sure down here for the power settings that you have supply power to USB ports set to always. That is what I would do. There is a disable background wave option 2 on debug. So that was from Burke. So disable background wave option. Ooh, do you know where that's at there? Burke, can you tell me where that's at? Sublime says, thanks, been watching, but missed that one, so watches it the next day. Yeah, thank you, Sublime, for watching. Okay, next update, Ps4 9.4. What? Yeah, so it went 9.03 to 9.04 to now 9.50. Head to Beast. Sup, dude. Love your work. Thank you for watching. And enthusiasm for Homebrew. Can't wait for your content to show up on my screen. Woohoo! Thank you, man. I really greatly do appreciate that. That's one of the reasons I like. I really like this. I really like YouTube. I like the community, and I like to be able to hang out with you all. Let's see. Was blown away by the possibilities of the Vita after root access. It's just sad that Sony abandoned it. Yeah, Wolfer, that is a very true statement. So there is an article that goes back a little bit that talks about them abandoning the Vita. I think they just, in the article, there was some information that was in there, but basically they wanted more first party, like first person shooters, which it's very hard to do that based off of that hardware, and didn't really need it. Like, even if you're remotely interested in RPGs, there was so much that it would do there for it. But yeah, I don't know. It was a weird one. Sony just abandoning it. I mean, it got hacked to pieces pretty early on, and I hate to say that may be one of the causes. But nowadays, Sony doesn't care about the Vita. They don't care anything about that whole platform, which is a complete and utter shame. And I see them pulling down the Vita store, just like potentially they'll do with the PlayStation 3 store, which, I've always been very, it's been very interesting to me to hear about people getting rid of these stores like Nintendo. Like Nintendo is, they're wanting to shut down pretty much all of these retro or these older titles. The current generation of Switch and of all of these manufacturers like PlayStation 5, I know right now, having that ability to play some of those older games is very appealing to me. There's a reason that so many people are using the PS2 to PS4 packages to play or to emulate their PlayStation 2 games that they want to play on PlayStation 4. There's a whole entire like scene that's just dedicated to patching and making PlayStation 2 games run on PlayStation 4. So like really big titles, like Manhunt. Does anybody remember Manhunt? That was another one. Huge title for PlayStation 2. Multiple people have gotten it to work, on the PlayStation 4 where you can play it and enjoy it. It just doesn't seem like it should be that way. It seems like Sony would want to provide enough for, that system that some of those older titles, they would at least support, at least in a way of maybe emulation or something of that nature. But instead they don't. And so what that causes is that it causes, what we've got right here, people finding all types of alternative methods. And just like with the Switch, one of the things that I did with my Switch, and I have a modded Switch, was I wanted to download and I wanted to play some of the older like titles. I think one group of games that just finally got released was Advanced Wars. And I understand with like Advanced Wars, it was on like Game Boy or Nintendo DS. But people wanted to play that on their Switch. I mean, it was like the perfect like handheld, a big screen. Why wouldn't you want that? Nintendo just now is allowing that to happen. But yeah, kind of crazy. Head to Beast, PKG, yeah, lifesaver for the Vita. It is. And let me tell you another thing. Like, go to your Vita, or what I would recommend is going to and getting the PC app for it, right? So there is a PC app for PKGJ that you can get, and you can download this on your PC. And if you download all of this on your PC, well, then what's nice about that is that you have a backup of it. But don't just rely on your SD card for that backup. So one other thing I would recommend, I never put this in one of those videos, but one other thing that I would really heavily recommend is that if you are, looking at doing, any sort of PS Vita related hacking, as you can see right here, spring for the 256 gigabyte SD card. I bought the 256 gigabyte SD card. Mine was only around $30-something because I got it on sale. You can get a 256 gigabyte for around $35. Definitely get the 256. As you can see here, I've only used 75 right now, but that's mainly because I've been like just busy, totally consumed with what I've already got on there. But definitely worth it to go ahead and to get more, get the bigger hard drive. Get the bigger SD card. Wolfer says the one I got was for 100. Quality is okay. Back is messed up, but it's working fine. I got one more for 200 with good condition. So this, you're referring, I think, to the PS Vita itself. So this PS Vita, which I've showed multiple times on the stream now, I paid $125 cash for it. I actually bought this from a coworker at my real job, and it was from Japan. It had, for the most part, everything that was needed. It came with like the official power adapter and things of that nature. I did go out and buy like a little proper case for it, but AliExpress has all of those, right? So AliExpress has those for dirt cheap. Let's see here. For a while, talking about Vita, it took a while. Let's see, what else do we have here? What is the biggest SD card that you used? Yeah, so mine was 256. You can go up to 1 terabyte, Hans. Yeah, you can go up to 1 terabyte if you would like to. I don't know if you can go much larger than that. I know a 1 terabyte SD card runs in the 100s, so it's like $120 something for one of those cards. I did not want to buy. I did not want to buy one that big. Hello from Turkey, Yasin. What is up? Hopefully you're doing well. I guess Steam Deck might make Sony to rethink about next gen portable consoles. Wolfer. So yeah, that is kind of interesting there too. About the Steam Deck for Sony. I've seen the Steam Deck. I think it's kind of cool, but I also think it's pretty pricey, right? What do those things start at? $400? Is that like the going rate for those things for a Steam Deck? I don't know if I'd be willing to spend $400 for a Steam Deck right now. I don't think so. I'm pretty sure I wouldn't. Let's see here. Steam Deck. Wait, Stream Deck. Isn't that the name of it? No, it's Steam. Steam. So let's see what this is. So going back over here. Yeah, so they start at $400 for one of those things for 64 gigabytes. Wow, just think. A Vita plus 256 gigabytes, cost me right around, let's just say $160. And look at this. Expected order availability after Q3, October 2022 or later. Wow. Isn't that nuts? You're going to be waiting this long to get one of these things? I don't know. It isn't that that isn't that appealing for me. Have a question here. So Philip says, I'm trying to install GTA San Andreas on my PS4. My USB is formatted to exFAT and I have the package, but the package file does not show up in the package installer. Philip, well, there's a few things. If I were you, Philip, if it's on the root of the PlayStation 4. So here is a USB where I've got a bunch of package files on it. Okay. So I can come into game here. I can come into game here and we can go to package installer and it sees all of the games. That's because all of these games are just on the root, right? These are just on the root of the USB drive. So if I come back over to this and we go to Ps4 Explorer, and by the way, there's a new version of Ps4 Explorer that you should all go and check out. I talked about this in Homebrew News. But if we look right in here, this is where all of those PKGs exist. Now, if you are using Ps4 Explorer, then it doesn't really matter because you can install them from any folder in here. So here is an example of Honk 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 Honk. If anybody knows what that game is, then I don't know, I'll give you a shout out or something in a video if you know what game this is. But here's an example of where you could come in here. If I hit the X button, then it'll tell you what it is. But you can install it from any folder if you're using Ps4 Explorer. So yeah, let me know if that helps you there, Philip. Hi, when I launch a game on PS4, there are message errors for save. So, Hamza, Hamza, then what you probably got there's a trophy problem. Whatever your source was, you may want to go and download it again somewhere else. If you're having save game file errors upon booting the game, like it can't save or anything like that, it could be that. You could also try rebuilding your database. But for the most part, I found a ton of games, and I mean a ton of games, that just simply had problems with the package. There was a problem with the package themselves. All right, I'll give you all another 2 or 3 minutes before I reveal what is the name of this game. Honk, 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 honk. Actually, I did a video on this game. Yeah, I did. I did a video on this game. Just making sure. I love running Android on my Switch. Drew, I've never ran Android on my Switch yet. So it says you can download PS3 games on PS4, PC. Am I right? You can download PS3 games, either way. You can download them directly on your PS3 with PKGI was the name of it on PlayStation 3. I've actually got a video. It's a video that I did that did really, really well on how to install retail packages on PS3. We should all wait for Forbidden West. Yes, is a breeze. We're going to be waiting. Can you make a tutorial on backing up PS4 games? Well, Wallace, I have quite a few tutorials on backing up PS4 games. Check out that little playlist that dropped that said, check out the entire PS4 Jailbreak collection. You'll find a couple of ways in there. Things such as using FTP or just using your external hard disk drive. Yep. Thank you. Okay. And let's see. Hi, Michael. What's the PKG program to utilize on the PC? So, Grim, always have to be pretty careful for showing some of those type of things. But for the most part, if you just go and you take a search for, just do a search for PS Vita retail game download to PC, you should get it. And if that doesn't work, hit me up on my Discord, which Discord is always linked into, I think it's linked into the show notes. Or there you go. Discord just came out by Streamlabs. A link to it there. So you can join that community if you want to, and then hit me up there. Let's see. Hello from Brazil. Hey, what's up, Marcos? Do you think that the jailbreak for PS 903 is in dreams? No, I don't. I think that we will see a 9.03 jailbreak. It's just going to be a matter of time. Are you willing to wait for that 9.03 jailbreak to drop, or what? I think that's kind of the interesting, thing here. What are you willing to kind of like wait for? I believe you'll see one probably 9.03, 9.04, probably 9.50. Will it be this year? Maybe. Will it be next year? Maybe. It will happen. It has to happen eventually. Because here's what happens. This is the reason that like PlayStation 2, PlayStation 1, you keep seeing people revisit those. So like right now on the PlayStation 2, the kind of the hotness is using these little memory cards that have an SD drive or an SD card inserted into it. It's the stuff that folks like Mr. Mario has been talking about. Blair, I can't ever think of his last name, but he's been talking about it. It's these, I think they're just called SD or MX chips for PS2. The technology or that software remains stagnant in time. So like the PS2 software is the same. What happens is that people research the operating system and that hardware, and months go by and years go by, and it may take a different individual to look at it to say, oh, you know what about this? We could have tried this, or maybe if we did this. We're building upon the knowledge of everybody that's been involved in the scene, right? That's how like these hacks always get better and better and better as time goes by. We'll probably have custom firmware eventually for every version of the PlayStation 3. You know, look at like the PlayStation 1. The PlayStation 1, now that whole security mechanism can be defeated by there's a little bot that you can add into a DVD that once it reads that, it automatically thinks that it's legit software. Like, and look at the Dreamcast. You know, I remember when the Dreamcast, they finally figured out how to make that little ring, that bypassed and said it was a good Dreamcast game. It's just a matter of time. It's always just a matter of time. I did a video on open source software for the PlayStation 5 where I documented all of those screens of open source software. Now, in my opinion, just like what we're going to start seeing in the future is that the more dependencies that you take on these open source software, and PlayStation 4 has got a pile of it too, the more dependencies you take on that open source software is going to be or equal up to a greater amount of risk that system is going to take. So, in other words, yes, there's got to be at some point in time hacks for all of these versions. Are you going to even care about it though at that point? Like a lot of people's moved on from like the PlayStation 2 or maybe PlayStation 1 or some of these other systems. Are you going to care about it if in another 10 years from now, let's just say PlayStation 4, everything's completely ripped apart? You can run custom firmware. Heck, you can get on PlayStation Network. You know, they may be just about to end of life the PlayStation Network at that point for the PlayStation 4 in 10 years from now. Will you care about it then? That's interesting. I see a couple of people that makes videos right now about Sega Saturn and about some of the Atari Jaguar and some of these older systems, right? On how they're able to hack those today. Will you care about it in that 10 years or so from now? Which is why my advice is always, always, always the same. And that is that if you want a console that you can hack and that you can use today, don't wait on anything happening with 9.03 or 9.04. Get a used one now, which is the same advice that I give out for like PlayStation 5. I have 2 PlayStation 5s, and I understand things are expensive, so you might not be able to afford or whatever. I saved for mine, because I've got normal bills. I've got a family. I've got a house payment. I've got things just like everybody else has got, right? But, you save up a little bit of money for it. I've got a PlayStation 5 that's on 3.20. It's sitting in a closet, not getting any use. It's actually in a closet in the box because maybe there will be something that comes out for it, and at least I should be able to run whatever the exploit is if it comes out. And I've got another one at 4.03 that I just didn't update simply because I just am not that crazy interested in PlayStation 5 right now. Also, PlayStation 5 doesn't do very well on really any modders channels. Look at my channel. Look at Mr. Mario. Look at Modded Warfare. PS5 related news is kind of a meh because not enough people even has those right now. And then also we don't have an exploit for it. So anyway, that's my take on it. PKGI on PS3 is great. Yeah, that's what I use. It's good for streaming. Game Pass. Do you think we might get more possibilities? Wolford, that's a good question. I don't really know what we would get if we did have custom firmware on the PlayStation 4. Mainly because right now I can use this little device, and as you just all saw, I don't really have to do anything in order to get my PS4 jailbroken. It's like a button, a button press. I don't know what we would really gain out of it except for more. I don't know. Maybe you would get some more custom things that you could do. Like right now, you can already do some amazing things, like on the PlayStation 4, like change the startup logo. I mean, the startup sounds and stuff like that. I did a video on that. Like my PlayStation 4, when it boots up, it boots up with the PlayStation 1 music. That you can do that right now. There's a lot we can do with it already. Oscar, what's the newest jailbreak you can do? Yeah, 9.00 is the latest. I don't understand the kernel exploit. Is this some sort of vulnerability in the OS level? I'm doing programming, but not on a machine level. So Christopher, there's usually two things that's needed for a hack to actually happen. One is that you need some sort of web exploit or some way to kind of like break free from the permissions of the system. And then secondly, you need a type of a kernel exploit, which will allow you to do things like, turn on that debug menu, or be able to, run packages that weren't signed, because it gives you a higher level of privilege than what you've already got. For the PS5, we have the web vulnerability part of it. So for the PS5, that's, those examples that I've shown a couple of times, before. The user land exploit or the PS5 user land exploit's there, but we don't have a kernel access to it. So we can run the exploit, and that's why the exploit will come back and will return something to us, like those middle message pop-ups. And I can go to the video if it would be needed to show it, but we don't have kernel access, and that's what we're waiting for that. So you need both, and you can't have one without the other. Like everybody kind of like you piggyback off of the prior hack that we've got. So like the font face hacks, there's a lot of the stuff that we're taking advantage of right now, which gives us a lot of our PS4 capabilities. I called this soon. It'll eventually be out. Maybe so. I got my PS4 hacked and my Wii. I wouldn't mind waiting for the PS4 jailbreak. Houston, you can go ahead and take advantage of your PS4 jailbreak right now. You just have to do it manually. Would just like to be able to play PS2 games out of technical issues. So, Gear Stevenson, I haven't had a lot of problems playing PlayStation 2 games off of my PlayStation 4, especially, I do use pre-built packages that other people made. I've never actually converted a PlayStation 2 to PlayStation 4 myself, mainly because all the games I really wanted to play, somebody else already did. And then there's a lot of other games that, there's just good, solid either ports by Sony or something's already came out for it, like Metal Gear Solid and things of those natures. Spider for Games, hello to you. How can I play PS3 games? So Gear for PS3 games, I guess there are some PS3 games that there is either like proper ports of or things of that nature. But the architecture changed for the most part. So PS3 emulation isn't that good or isn't going to ever really be that great for the PlayStation 4. So the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5 uses the same architecture, which is the reason that PlayStation 4 games work on your PlayStation 5 without hiccup. I think Sony missed a big opportunity there, by not allowing out of the box at least some sort of decent emulation for PS3 games. And I'm saying that as somebody who has a massive collection of PlayStation 3 games. I buy PlayStation 3 games all the time. All right, so I'm going to switch back over because we've got to end this part of the quiz today. Does anybody know what game this is that starts with honk, honk, a honk, honk? That is the trivia question of the day. I'm surprised nobody has gotten this one because, in my mind, it's a pretty popular game. So I'll leave it here for a moment here. And by the way, don't forget to like the stream. Likes always help me. Brings me up in the algorithms. Is it you or just the PS3 jailbreak is much better? Yeah. I mean, the PS3 jailbreak is nice, right? So there's custom firmware for the PlayStation 3. Oh, you got it there, Graham. You got it. Untitled Goose Game is what that title was. Yeah, so on the PlayStation 3, obviously there was custom firmware, and then even if you couldn't run custom firmware on the PlayStation 3, what was really nice about that was that at least you didn't have to do USB emulation, jailbreak emulation stuff. You didn't have to do any of that sort of stuff. It works just about everywhere. I feel like there isn't as much privilege when will we get CFW? Yeah. You also got to keep in mind though, like what is it that you want your PS4 to do that you don't think that you can already do right now? Like what would you want? What would you add to the PlayStation 4 that you don't already have going on right now? Yeah, Drew. So all your PS2 and Saturn games run fine on the PS4. Yep. I have a number of Saturn games that's on my PS2 right now. Let's see what I've got over here. Let's go to this one. And let's see. Icon mask. Let's see, what do I have on here? Total Goose Game. Yeah, Area 51. Area 51. Does everybody remember this game for Saturn? So Area 51 was so awesome. This was also like in the arcades. You know what I mean, too? I totally loved playing this game. This game was so cool. But yeah, you can run your Sega Saturn games on your PlayStation 4, and they work. There's so much that you can do. So much kind of cool stuff that you can do with it. Not sure if I can. My PS4 is on 9.03. Yeah, if it's on 9.03, you can't do anything with it except for play, well, games that require 9.03. So you could play Horizon. You could also play, I always forget what the controls are to this thing. You can always play Elden Ring. Gosh, I just love this beginning thing of the Saturn. I never owned a Sega Saturn. That guy's just going through there, ready just to. Let's see, you got to reload. Reload, shoot off the screen. Did I do it? Now I've got my Star Agent. Star Agent says, let's go, let's go, let's go. Oh. I don't think I'm doing too well. Oh. Oh, I'm getting killed. I love that dude just diving right there. Yeah, I know my attention span today is kind of all over the place. But yeah, you can't beat some of these old school like Sega Saturn games. Good day. Is it possible for recent games like Elden Ring to be backported to the hacked firmware? Jeremiah, the answer there is not right now. I mentioned this in the Homebrew news, but for the most part, when we start seeing like these patches that come out, don't get excited when these patches come out for, firmware that's 9.50 for games that came out like 2 years ago. Once the base game comes out and it's at 9.00 or lower, then you should be able, or we should still see a patch. Those new patches come out that still work with that base game. I know this typically brings us all into the discussion of Dying Light 2, since the base package was on 9.00. But one thing I've never been able to confirm, mainly because I don't have the disc itself, is that was the retail version of Dying Light 2, not what we all were playing, was the retail version of Dying Light 2 on 9.00? If anybody's actually got that disc, I'd love to know. I'd love to know what that game actually shipped with. A lot of folks still say it's 9.00, but in my mind, I would think that if it was at 9.00, then we would definitely get a patch for it that would, we would have been able to have played the latest and greatest patches for it. Drew says, thanks for your content. Thanks for watching. Saturn games work too. No issues on PS4. Is there a link for the ESP32S2 mini case that I display? That is right over here. Let's see. Let's get this booted up. And let's go to this screen. And let's go to this one. ESP32. Yes, there is. And you can get any of these cases right here. There's a bunch of different cases that people have built. The one that I used was the Wemos S2 Mini, and I used this one right here. So I used the S2 Mini by Doyle. And by the way, Doyle is in our Discord. So you can always chat with Doyle for, he's in our Discord. And so, he was actually very cool, very helpful. And then here is a bunch of the other cases, which you can also just head over here and you can go check out. There. I want the Mercenaries game to work and Godfather for the PS2. Those are both good games. How to make Spider-Man DLCs to packages. Oh, you have the game CD. So Ps4 Games. I did a whole video just on this topic. Let's go to this and let's go to videos and let's go to I went out and actually bought a game that had DLC on it in order to make this video, which I've also been thinking I probably should get one of those 9.03 discs so I can do some more tests. I just don't really want to spend $50 or $60. Let's see. DLC. I don't think it was that long ago, was it? Media apps. Here we go. This one. Yep. I went out and I bought this game right here, which was Mud Runner, because it had DLC on it. And I wanted to see how to get the DLC off of it. But yeah, I put the disk in and we look in the mount disk directory. For the most part, yeah. I mean, in this video, I made not only the game Mud Runner, it was all running off of your hard disk drive by the end of it. But then also the DLC that was on it was crazy expensive. Inside of one of these, there's some of the DLC. Inside some of these, I think I showed the prices, and I was pretty kind of mad that the DLC was so much more than the game was. I don't know. Yeah, there it is. So $9.99 for this one, and then there was another one that was like $20. So basically, I mean, the content is on the disc itself. I don't know. What's all of your thoughts? If the content is on the disc, you bought the disc, do you own the content that's already on it? Or should you be paying extra even though you bought the disc? It's yours. It's your disc to do with. I mean, if you want to take the disc and, I don't know, put a hole through it or another hole through it, you can do that. It's yours. But is the data that's on it, is that yours for the keeping? And so, yeah, I mean, the way that I looked at it was that I bought the game. The DLC was on the game. If you didn't want the DLC, if they didn't want the DLC to be on there, and just think, I just paid $20 or $30 for the disc, and here is the same price, an additional $10 for the same content that was already on that disc. So yeah, kind of interesting there. Well, I tell you what, I think I have been on here for a little while, an hour and 46 minutes. Thank you all for hanging out here with me this long. I typically only stream for like an hour. But yeah, this was good. This was really good chatting. I really enjoyed spending time here with each and every one of you. You all make my day and make my life a lot better. I will definitely say this channel makes my life better. So yeah, let me go to Kay's question. I am new, never jailbroken. Is there PKGs that I've used? Yeah, so Kay, to answer your question there, yeah, I've got packages back when 2.0 was out or 2. Something was out. I can't even remember that far back. But those package, or 1.83, I think was the name of it. I've got a package of PT, which those of you who have been around for a little while is like the playable like teaser of Silent Hills or Silent Hill. I think they named it that or something like that. But it's called PT. That was for 1.83. I've still got those. That 1.83 package works perfect on 9.00. And can you sync trophies? You can only sync trophies if you give up your jailbreak because you can't connect to the PlayStation Network. So, yeah, you're not going to get that. Do I recommend you to stay on 9.03? Answer to that is that no. I would really recommend you sell your 9.03 system and get one at 9.00 before it's too late. Thank you. Discord group. Yeah, there is a Discord that I have. You can all hang out with me in Discord. That is, let's see here. It was a Streamlabs notification. By the way, hit the subscribe button. If you'd like to hang out and spend more time with me here, I'm going to go to the Discord and I'm going to get a link, I think. Let's see, how do I do this? Invite people. Copy. Okay, so here is one that expires in 7 days. So you might as well go and enjoy the Discord. And oh yes, Jeremiah, we have a Discord. Okay, well, thank you all for hanging out with me here today. I greatly do appreciate it. And until next time, Michael out. I can't edit that last part where it just ends there. So, bye.